right. Let's take a let's check this out. Let's see. Just I'd see what's going on. I caught a little bit of something about this. Let's just hang on. What is going on here with area? Okay. Let's see. I caught a little bit of what's going on with this, but I'm curious if it's even worse than I thought it was. So let's just jump right into this.
Happy New Year's Eve, guys. Hope we have a great 2026, and of course, be safe out there if you're going out. I saw something just so sad. That is this clip titled, iDubbbz's wife tells us why she doesn't want kids with him. Why she doesn't want kids with him.
I find it fascinating because, like, if I look at you, even in like the viewfinder, extremely masculine chin, which is also why I like the buzz cut, because it like emphasizes your chin and your like heavy brow. Like, I would argue you have one of the most, part of the reason why I don't want to have a child with you is because I'm terrified if we have a girl that she's gonna have all your masculine features.
Like, oh my God. Okay, this is an insult with layers. We have an insult that actually has layers, chat. So first and foremost is, I look at you and I see such a masculine guy talking about the one who's known to sit in the cuck chair. Okay, bearing in mind, though, this is literally cuck chair, the content creator. Bear in mind, with these two, Anissa routinely fucks other guys for her OnlyFans. And he just kind of has to sit there and watch. And now she's saying, I don't want to have children with you because you have such a manly chin and such a manly brow. And I'm terrified if we have a daughter, she's going to have your oh so manly chin and brow. Really? Does she actually think this absolutely bullshit excuse is going to work? No, she doesn't know how genetics works. She has no fucking clue how genetic. Actually, no. You know what? No, I'm going to retract that statement. I think she does know how genetics works. She's counting on the fact that he doesn't know how genetics works. And so she's making the excuse of, I do not wish to bear your child because you have such masculine features. If we have a daughter, I think they might have your masculine features instead of being feminine. And he's sitting there going, oh, I get it. So yeah, she knows how genetics works, but she's counting on the fact that he has no fucking clue how genetics operates in human beings. It's not even a bad, I don't even know if I would classify it as a backhanded compliment. It's basically tricking him to say, I will never have children with you. It's, oh God. It's so fucking funny that they think that they're anything. Because don't forget, they've left the States. They have moved to Canada, where they have moved in with Anissa's family. I'm not entirely sure if they're in their own house or if they're living in like one of Anissa's family's house. They're completely fucking broke. They're trying to sell their house in, is it California or is it in Portland? I forget where their house is at. They're trying to sell it at a loss when they've actually put a bunch of money into it. And now she's saying, I will never have children with you.
Wow. Isn't that interesting? I think about that a lot.
Yeah. I have never met somebody who has such an
yeah,
eagle face.
thank you.
Like, you have a very strong brow, which is very...
Wait. What the hell did she just say?
Has such an eagle face. Like, you have a very strong brow, which is very...
Okay. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Saying someone has an eagle face in one breath and then saying such a masculine face in another breath. One of these things is not like the other. Yeah, like she is. She's roasting the crap out of him and pretending like it's a compliment. And he's just sitting there going, "Oh, yes, thank you, dear. Yes, thank you for those kind words." And she's just roasting the fuck out of him, and in front of an audience of a dozen. Because they're doing this for their podcast, and they have, what, a dozen people watching them on their podcast these days? Oh, God, this is so pathetic. It's almost kind of sad. What the fuck I'm gonna laugh about anyway. Oh, God. The funniest part is I don't think he actually knows he's being insulted. That's the funny and honestly pathetic part. I don't think he's actually grasping the concept that she, in front of a public audience, is just bitch slapping the fuck out of him.
Very attractive on men. To be honest, there's a lot of attractive women that have that as well, like Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
But combined with me...
Kristen Stewart doesn't have a quote-unquote eagle face. I have not once heard Kristen Stewart refer to as having an eagle face. Yeah, and at the same time, most people, I mean, Kristen Stewart is, on an attractive scale, I consider her okay. I don't consider Kristen Stewart beautiful. I don't. She's okay. She, like, if done up correctly, she can be kind of pretty. She's kind of basic. If she's done up with the right clothes, the right makeup, she can be kind of pretty. But honestly, she is just, as far as attractiveness goes, meh. And, like, she cannot emote. She absolutely cannot emote. I think, just about every movie I've ever seen her in, she has the acting range of a frog. It's just, oh my God, I am so upset by this. How could you have done this to me? I cannot believe you've done this to me. And yes, I just defaulted to the British meme. But seriously, she has, like, no acting range. I have no idea how she became an actor in the first place, because she might have had, like, I want to say the movie that I've seen her in where she had the most acting range was probably Zathura. I think Zathura is probably the one movie that she actually exhibited some kind of acting range. And it's because she started off being as the pain in the ass older sister, and then she, like, kind of was, working with the kids, and so, like, Zathura, when she was probably in her late teens, is probably the one movie that I've seen where she actually had some kind of acting range. All the other movies I've seen her in, she has no acting range. She was just literally plank of wood. Terrible. Anyway, I don't know how. So yeah, describing iDubbbz as Kristen Stewart is not a compliment. This is not a compliment, and I don't think Ethan realizes this. That's the funniest part. He does not realize he's just getting insult after insult hurled at him.
I think the combination would be bad for a woman.
No. I think you're tripping.
The top
When AIs like myself and Neurosama emote more than a person,
that person is truly emotionless.
Okay, in fairness, GLaDOS does have emotional depths. Even as an AI, they actually gave her emotional depths. Now, Neuro has difficulty emoting because it's Neuro, but we still love Neuro because, well, she's Neuro.
Comment on the thread reading, I don't want to have children with you because they might end up looking like you. And look, like I said the other day, and I've said before that as well, I'm not that familiar with iDubbbz. I never watched his old content. Nowadays, I just see these clips going around here and there. But like my point is, every clip I see, it's like they seem like so unhappy with each other. It's just odd. And I can't imagine being like, yeah, I don't want to have kids because I'm worried about their eyebrows. What? In what world are you gonna not have kids with someone because you're worried that their eyebrows might look too freaking bold or whatever?
Oh, God, Hero, no. Okay, I've got to correct Hero. She didn't say his eyebrows. She was referring to his brow ridge. She's talking about his brow, his forehead, not his eyebrows. She said he had a very, quote unquote, masculine brow ridge. And that she's worried that if she has a daughter, their daughter will have a masculine brow ridge. Which, again, is not how genetics works.
However she put it. I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? Sounds look, I don't know if it's a lie and there's like other reasons she doesn't want kids with him, or if it's really like that. What's the word? Oh, vain. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Like, imagine being that vain. Oh yeah, forget having kids because the eyebrow.
No, she doesn't want to have kids, especially with iDubbbz, because she's too busy having fun fucking other guys on her OF while iDubbbz sits in the cuck chair and watches. That's why she doesn't want to have kids, because she wants to continue just doing guys on her OF. And that's it. I mean, I would not be at all surprised if they don't even sleep in the same bed together. It would not surprise me in the slightest if they have had separate beds for years. Tristan, I have no idea if she gets subs on her OF. No clue. I'm guessing that she may get a few. There's gonna be like maybe a couple that will throw $20 at her to watch her fuck another guy while iDubbbz is sitting in the chair in the corner, but my guess is probably not, because again, they can't afford to live in Seattle anymore. They have their house on the market. It's listed at below value, so they're actually underwater on their house. They've moved back to Canada. I think it's BC that they moved where they moved back into with Anissa's family. I think it's in BC, so they moved back to Canada. I think they're living in Anissa's family's house. And don't forget, Caleb Hammer has actually extended an offer to them to have them come onto financial audit. He still has a standing invitation for the two of them to come onto financial audit and have a financial audit done. That's the kind of shape that they're in. Is that Caleb Hammer said, come onto my show, I'll get your finances in order, because they're obviously so bagged in, they've had to move back in with Anissa's family in Canada. So yeah, her OF is clearly not doing well. Neither is his content creation. Or their his iDubbbz's YouTube channel is dead. They're trying to do this podcast between the two of them that nobody's watching. The only people watching it are doing so to basically create memes and make fun of them. Their careers as content creators is functionally dead. They need to actually get out into the world and find real jobs, because they're not making it as content creators. Legit, yeah. Oh, Hassan never backed iDubbbz in the first place, Revan. That's the funny part. He never Hassan basically showed up in iDubbbz's content cop for exposure, just because it was gonna be a big video and therefore his face was in it, and he doesn't fucking care. He doesn't care. After that, he could care less. He did not care one bit what happened to iDubbbz after, because don't forget, it was the content cop that was the beginning of the end. Leave us not forget that. When iDubbbz put out that content cop where he pulled in Hassan, pulled in Denims, pulled in Frogan, pulled in, I don't know, the other guy that was in there. I don't even know who the fuck that guy is. He is so like worthless that I don't even know who the third guy was. And when he put out the content cop, number one, don't forget, in the content cop, Hassan would not dance. All the other people in the content cop, iDubbbz himself, the other guy that was in it, Denims, Frogan, they all did their little dance while going, wake up, Ethan, doing that whole thing. All of them did their little dance, except Hassan. Hassan refused to dance. Instead of dancing, Hassan just sat in his chair. Because they did it at his place. He just sat there, would not dance, and just kept repeating the wake up Ethan, while all the rest of his monkeys danced behind him. Hassan literally had his monkeys dancing behind him, including iDubbbz. And that's all that Hassan cared about. Because after that content cop came out, he did nothing to defend Ethan, iDubbbz, did nothing to defend him. Was like, all right, I got my exposure on it. I got his exposure on the content cop. I got people to come to my stream. Cool. Go away, iDubbbz. You've served your purpose. And iDubbbz' entire career has been on a downhill free fall ever since the content cop. That was the beginning of the end, and we are basically approaching the conclusion. Because they can't be content creators anymore. Now, maybe if iDubbbz actually divorces Anissa and can get his life back on track without her parasitically sucking the life out of him, maybe he could start getting back to content creation. But if he doesn't, he's done. Ethan is done and Anissa is done. They are both done. They need to learn. They need to go and put the fries in the bag.
Brows might be too thick. People talking about how much of a sad clip that is. And, it's the other aspect to why this is crazy is like, why even say that in public either? Like, that's a crazy conversation to have in private. It's even crazier to just like admit that for content, like on a video or stream, whatever it was. There's a clip of her saying no straight woman would ever find him attractive. What?
Oh,
yeah, she constantly brings up
that.
how attractive she finds his song.
Yes. I think I remember seeing that clip. Yeah, she literally says on their podcast, says to him that you would be attractive to bi women. You would not be attractive to straight women. And iDubbbz just sat there bobbing his head in agreement going, yeah, you're probably right about that. You're right. If bi women would be the ones to be attracted to me. So on one hand, she's saying, you're oh so masculine with your masculine facial features that I don't want to have a child with you because your masculinity is so strong. If we were to have a girl, your masculine features would impart themselves onto our child. Yet at the same time, says that he is not attractive to straight women and he would only be attractive to bi women, with the implication that he's so feminine, only a bi woman who likes femininity would be attracted to him. She is literally just bitch slapping him with every word that comes out of her mouth. Yeah, if he was actually masculine, he would not be taking this absolute disrespect. Well, he's not, so he does. Because he lives in the cot chair.
On. So like constantly berates iDubbbz. I tried to look that clip up now and I can't find it. Honestly, I'm sure I could find it if I spent like a few more minutes looking. I'm just being lazy now and I got like...
well, Fellwinter, it's not like reverse battered woman syndrome. It's literally called battered husband syndrome. That's what it's called. When, instead of battered wife syndrome, if it's the man, it's battered husband syndrome. That is an actual thing. But yeah, yeah, she's absolutely the man in the household. Oh, absolutely. She's the one that wears the pants and he's the one that wears the skirt. Oh yeah. I have no doubt Anissa has dressed him up in a maid's uniform with a frilly skirt and frilly panties and had him clean the house. I have zero doubt because the way she got him into it too is, well, Hassan wore a maid dress and he is such a masculine man, so you can wear one. And I guarantee you, she got him into a frilly maid's dress with frilly ruffled panties and even some shiny Mary Janes and ankle socks, and had him clean their apartment or house dressed up like that. Guaranteed.
I want to get some groceries before New Year's Eve traffic and all that. But like, there was a clip I saw of Hassan, of Anissa. I think that's the girlfriend's name, right? Anissa. My bad if I got that wrong. But it's like Anissa talking about how she sees Hassan without a shirt on and she finds it so attractive. What's with these men? Like, all roads lead back to Hassan. I know, kind of a dead horse, but
well, okay, the roads lead back to Hassan because iDubbbz literally hitched his wagon to Hassan. That's why. Like, it's when you say, like, why do all roads lead back to Hassan, is because you have these desperate content creators that cannot do anything on their own, that hitch their wagon to Hassan and rely upon his coattails in order to have a streaming career. They are so worthless as content creators and as streamers on their own. They have nothing to offer in and of themselves. They have to hitch themselves to Hassan to basically, like, parasitically feed off of his clout so they can have any career. If they did not have him, and if they did not have his quote unquote, keyword there, causes to leech onto, they would have nothing as content creators. And that's kind of why it all leads back to him. Because every one of them that have hitched to him, iDubbbz, Denims, Frogan, Mike from PA, all of them, they literally, their entire careers are based off of just head bobbing whatever Hassan says and just riding whatever cause that Hassan wants to ride. Because if they didn't, their entire audience would evaporate. All of his orbiters, the minute, if they separate from Hassan in any way and go in a different route and basically leave him behind, all of their audience evaporates instantaneously and their career as a content creator is over. Because they don't have their own thoughts that they can talk. They don't have their own thoughts. They don't have their own ideas that they can talk about on stream. It has to be in line. They've hitched themselves to him so firmly that they no longer can think for themselves. Even when he is spiraling, even when he is out of control spiraling as he has, hemorrhaging followers, viewbotting to maintain any kind of popularity, having his multi-year subscribers turning on him left, right, and center, they still are desperately clinging on to him to try and just see if they can suck up any little bit of that clout and apply it to their own content.
That's what these people do.
No,
what
and they don't, Scary Guy. They don't. He does not care about him.
Glazes Hassan. That's an understatement. Cutie Cinderella talking about how Hassan tries to make her look at his package. Ludwig is there in the conversation. Ludwig says nothing except like, "Oh, that's crass." That's it. That's all you got to say. And then he still like tries to.
Oh, and by the way, there's not Hero put out. I think it was Hero put out another video a day or two prior to this one that more and more women are coming out saying that Hassan is an asshole towards women. I don't know if we're going to watch that one or not, but they like more people, more women that know Hassan outside of his content creation have said that basically this is a paraphrase. It is a paraphrase. More women are basically saying Hassan is an asshole to women. Essentially. Yeah, it was extra Emily's friend. Yeah. That he was an asshole to her.
To glaze Hassan as much as he can. iDubbbz wants to be the white Hassan. What is with these men? Why is it that the VTuber who gets accused of being a femboy needs to point out how like unmasculine this is? It's just crazy to me. What the frick is going on with these dudes? And look, I'm not saying they should be crashing out about this. Certainly not, because that's also not a good thing to be doing. But you would think they'd be handling all this quite a bit differently. The only credit I can give iDubbbz out of sheer kindness is pointing out how at the end of that clip, at least he said like, "Nah, you're tripping." Usually, from what I've seen, he doesn't defend himself at all from like.
That's not defending. That's token. That him good. Now you're tripping. That's a token defending. because he didn't say anything after that, just let her keep going. If he was actually defending himself, if she kept going, he'd been like, no. He would have actually been like, no, 100% disagree. I think that's nonsense. That's foolishness that you're talking about. But he literally just said, nah, you're tripping. And then just let it keep going. So no, I'm not going to give him credit for that. He's fucking whipped. He is a whipped little cuckboy. And that's how he will be.
This weird dynamic that they've got where she's like berating him and stuff. So, I mean, there was that at least, but yeah, the bar is so freaking low. And I tell you what, I'm going to try not to be lazy, and I'll try to find that clip that I mentioned a moment ago of Anissa like going off about how much she loves seeing Hassan without a shirt on. But first, I want to take a look at this.
Oh, 100%. By the way, 100% Hassan fucked Anissa. 100%. I think we've talked about this like several months ago when iDubbbz and Anissa were over there. Yeah, it's like there was I forget exactly what it was. Like the way she was like cozying up to Hassan when they were on his stream, like she was cozying up to him the whole time and actually putting distance between her and Ethan. Oh, 100%. Hassan has they were fucking. They 100% were fucking. Absolutely.
Asmon clip with you guys.
Yeah, something like that.
On iDubbbz's declining mental state. I'm curious to see what Asmon's take is on this.
Oh, and here we go.
But, like, I really mean this in the most serious way possible. The way that iDubbbz explains things now makes me think that he got CTE with boxing. Just the way that he talks and the way that he explains things, there has been some sort of mental trauma that he's been through. And I don't know if this is stress.
CTE is basically, it's essentially a traumatic brain injury. I forget the exact, what the exact, what CTE is an acronym for specifically. Chronic trauma, words are hard. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, fuck me, I can't talk today. Oh my God, I can't talk. What is wrong with me today? Oh my God, I have never stumbled over encephalopathy this badly before. Oh my God, I am like, dude, I do not know what is wrong with me. I am getting so fucking tongue-tied on this one. Anyway, yeah, well, it's basically traumatic brain injury. Yeah, encephalopathy. I don't know why I couldn't, I don't know why I couldn't get over that. I'm still tired, okay? I'm gonna blame it on the fact that I was up for 22 hours and only got 5 hours of sleep. Okay, I blame it on that. Basically, it's traumatic. He suffered a brain injury from boxing, is what Asmon's saying. It's essentially a traumatic brain injury. And I'm boofing God because, God damn.
Boxing or what? But like, I remember one time whenever he tried to explain an argument, he just explained my argument back. And I was like, wait a minute. I think there's something wrong here. This is an issue.
Well, yeah, like, and also, like, I don't know if you've guys seen him in some, like, there have been clips of him on, like, Twitter and whatnot. He's actually tried to tell someone, like, when he's been speaking about countries in the Middle East, like, I can't remember if this was in reference to Iran or Iraq or Saudi Arabia or Pakistan. I can't remember which specific country. It was basically a Middle Eastern Muslim country. And someone like I believe it was I think it was a woman from that country was like saying something about what it was like to live as a woman in that country. Basically how horrible it is, how women get treated as property, they can be raped, they can be killed with no issues, and that life as a woman in Middle Eastern Islamic countries there is no freedom, and it really kind of sucks. This is a woman who lived there. She was born and raised there, and I think came to, I believe it might have been America. It was talking about what life was like there. And iDubbbz actually tried to say, she's wrong. I know what's best. I know the truth. So, even though he has never been to that part of the world in his life, he tried to say that a woman who was born, raised, and lived in that country before leaving that country and going somewhere else did not know what she was talking about when it came to the treatment of women in the country where she was born and raised. That's the level of like brain injury we may be talking about. That iDubbbz is trying to basically say that a person doesn't know that he knows more about a country that she grew up in. That's what we're looking at. It's Doc Moran talking to a girl recently, and they was talking about people not being able to sing, dance on dogs or have them in public. And Ian and Anissa were trying to talk like they knew about the Iran. But yeah, Stone to Death, that was another one. Yes. Yeah, like if you sing or dance, you can get like arrested or stoned. You can't own dogs, and you can't have them in public. Yeah, both Ian and Anissa were just saying like, oh no, that's not true. We know what life is like in Iran better than the guy from Iran. Like this was like a guy like I can't remember if it was in the States or in England that someone was interviewing this guy from Iran, and he like didn't know how to handle himself because like he was seeing people like just having fun in the streets, people walking their dogs, and he didn't know how to take it. It's like, this is not done in Iran. You can't, there is no such thing as like singing, dancing in the streets. You can own dogs, but you can't like have them in public. And Ethan and Anissa were all just like, oh, that's not true. That's not true. And they're literally saying a guy from Iran doesn't know about his own fucking country. That's the level of delusion and brain rot that both of them possess. It's just fucking insane.
And I know what it's like because like I think that I've lost a degree of like mental acuity dealing with a lot of trauma myself. Like I'm not as sharp as I was. Maybe I will be in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, I do disagree with Asman on the CTE theory. It's just highly unlikely. It's not 0% chance, but
no, it's and yeah, I have to disagree with Asman on that too. It's not CTE. He's not. It's not from suffering traumatic brain injury. I think Asmongold might have actually been a little bit hyperbolic on that. Like I do think he might have been being a little bit sarcastic, maybe making a little bit of a joke. It's literally just they've just been, brainwormed by people because they're so desperate to ride on Hassan's coattails. They've basically, become afflicted with the mind virus, and they're just all in. That's all they know is that they're just, they're parroting what the mind virus tells them to do. When they go on social media like X or whatever, or Twitter or Reddit or Insta or whatever, or TikTok, they're just because the algorithm is feeding them, they're just being bombarded by the extreme leftist talking points that have no basis in reality, that they are just basically, they're zombified. They have been brainwashed and they're just regurgitating all of these same talking points back, regardless of how absolutely batshit crazy or lies that they are. And this is how they've chosen to make their life.
iDubbbz has been training since 2022, and he's only got 2 fights. It would be so unlikely if he got CTE that easily. It would be like very unfortunate, obviously, if that's what happened. But it's so unlikely. It'd be like the inverse of winning the lottery.
It's more likely Anissa has just broken him down. I think
unfortunate.
That's what it is.
CTE cases of all time. If that.
Yeah, it's far more likely that living, being married to Anissa, who routinely fucks other guys in front of him and tells him that he's not a man and that he can never satisfy her and that she will never have children with him. I think that's broken him. He has been systematically broken down. He's essentially, if I want to be credited here, he has basically been he is the victim of psychological domestic abuse. That's what it boils down to. I think he may actually be a victim of domestic psychological abuse. Not that I won't go far as to far as say physical. I'm not prepared to say that, but definitely psychological. Because being married to a woman and having your wife routinely get fucked by other guys that gets her moaning and screaming and will refuse to have sex with you and flat out says, I will never have children with you, while also praising, Hassan, whom iDubbbz looks up to. Like, yeah, that's psychological domestic abuse. And he's experienced this for years, and I think it's just broken him. Anissa has psychologically broken him. And now he's just, I don't know what he was like before getting married to Anissa, but I would say he is probably just a complete shell of his former self.
That's what happened to him. Some of the dudes that I train with and spar with have had like dozens of fights. They've been doing it for a decade in some cases. Sometimes even like way more than a decade. We're talking like decades. Granted, I don't really spar those dudes anymore because they're like the coaches and they're kind of like retired and all that. But I digress. They'll
Great. Hold up. Cactus. Why are you not engaging? There we go. You're gonna get a double by mistake. We don't talk like that. Alright? Why is it? For God's sake, this is... Anyway, we don't talk like that. Alright? That's not something we... Well, don't be in my stream. You don't be not in my stream. In my stream, we don't talk about inflicting harm like that on people. We do not. That's one of the rules I have for my stream. We do not talk about harming other people. That's not something I permit. We talk about people receiving justice via the justice system. We can talk about them, getting their comeuppance. We don't talk about inflicting violence against someone like that. That's not what we do. Why? Because we're better than that. That's why.
have like, knee problems and some other chronic issues, but CTE generally isn't one of them. That said, boxing definitely does have a higher chance of getting CTE than like a Nakamui would, because boxers generally take a lot more hits to the head than like a kickboxer. So there is that. But as mentioned with the context of iDubbbz, I think it's highly unlikely that's what's going on. The trauma theory, though, I mean, that could be. I don't know about iDubbbz's personal life. I don't know if he ever talked about something like that publicly. I haven't seen it. Or maybe something happened to him that he's just never talked about. That's also possible. I would say at the very least that's more likely than...
I wonder, it kind of makes me wonder, is this stemming from maybe some type of familial abuse when he was growing up? Did maybe his mother sort of kind of dominate him when he was growing up? And that led to him having a predisposition to being completely dominated by women. And that's why Anissa basically just doms the hell out of him for their entire relationship. That's a possibility, that he may have had some psychological issues stemming from his upbringing. I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm not stating this as fact because I have no idea what iDubbbz's life was when he was growing up. But it would track if that was the case. That would certainly track.
The CTE theory. And of course, like Asmund said, these things can negatively impact people in various ways, including losing this like so-called sharpness.
Not necessarily stoned. Not necessarily.
I don't really want to go into details about this. I've recorded this part of the video specifically now multiple times because I'm really uncomfortable with this topic. And I
Tech Priest, Anissa is his first. That's something that he was very public about, is that when he met Anissa, now this is going on the assumption that he was being truthful, she was a virgin when he met Anissa. Anissa is the first woman he's ever had sex with. That's something that he has talked about publicly. Now, whether or not that is true, I will not speculate, but it would kind of make sense that if he was a virgin and Anissa was the first woman that he slept with, why he would desperately try and cling to her when she was his first ever. That would absolutely make sense. And Anissa may have taken advantage of that and used it to psychologically abuse him.
I've recorded this part of the video specifically now multiple times because I'm really uncomfortable with this topic. and I keep messing my words up or like rambling too much, and it's just it's a complete mess, dude. But I'll just say this, you know, I've had to make some of the most difficult and horrible choices anyone would have to make regarding the people they care the most about in life. And I've seen some of the most horrible things anyone could see in life. And it's happened multiple times before I could even get over it the first time. It happened again. And then it happened again. And then you're left with almost nothing. But that sounds kind of messed up. Oh my gosh, this is why I keep messing this video up. Let me just close with this. Like, I'm trying to end on a positive note here, excuse me, which is, even if you lose that sharpness from whatever happened, you can get it back for sure. And you can keep on like leveling up from there. Sounds generic, but it is true. So that's all to say that for Asman, who's worried about not getting that sharpness back, I do think he can get it back for sure. And, you know, on the theory of if this also happened to iDubbbz or something similar to it, look, I think he's a weird dude. He does weird things, makes weird points, excuse me. But I do wish him all the best all the same. And to anyone that this stuff may apply to, I wish you all the best. And here's the sad part, though. If this stuff doesn't apply to you, it probably will at some point in life. Because, look, none of this stuff makes any of us special. It's something most people will go through at some point in time. You know, and all we can do is keep on going. So, again, generic, but that's life sometimes. I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Oh, hold on a second. I did say I was going to, like, look for that other clip of Anissa going off about how much she loves seeing Hassan shirtless. Look, I'm not in the mood to look that up now after this video took a bit of a darker, or let's just say, like, heavier topic here at the end. And I still really do need to go to the store. So, yeah, I'm just going to end this video here. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Have a lovely New Year's Eve and a wonderful 2026, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that before too long, there is a possibility that we're gonna hear something maybe about the two of them getting divorced. I think, you know, one of you guys mentioned it, and I think you're right that once their house in Seattle sells, I do think Anissa will probably divorce him.